Hi there, this is Cole Tanner Fuller, and he's here to talk to you today about the case study we were given as part of our irrigation class. We're here again in our Rainbird series, and I hope you enjoy. The case study today was, as the Canal at Delacour golf course ages, there's a variance of organic matter on some of the greens, and they are starting to suffer from poor infiltration. The water is puddling on the greens after 5 minutes of watering. This has happened to the entire front 9 greens. Design a program that waters all of the greens every night for 20 minutes. The back 9 can accept the entire 20 minutes at one time. However, the front 9 can only accept 5 minutes of watering at one time. Our first step in this process is to create a program. Select the program schedule detail and hit the quick irrigation scheduler. Now, you're going to have to name your program. In this case, we're going to name it Front Greens. As you can see, we've selected all start days, and we will select a start time of 10 o'clock p.m. Course is course 1, we only have one course. And now Cole will select the front holes. Perfect. Thank you, Cole. Next section is going to select all of the greens. Simply touch there, and the greens run times all fill in. Hit OK, and you set the run time to 200% because we're aiming to water the greens for 20 minutes. Beautiful. We will start another quick irrigation cycle to water all of the back 9 greens. We will call this back greens. As you can see, start days are all there as well, and the start time will also be 10 o'clock p.m. This time, Cole will select all back greens, and again, select all greens for area. Beautiful. Now this will also go to 200% as the default runtime is set for 10 minutes. This 200% means that we will always be watering at 20 minutes. Fantastic. Cole, you're doing a great job. Alright, now we can exit out of this, and we have to do the specifics of the cycle soak. If we go to Station Database, we already have the numbers in there. Cole will circle them to display. The first one he circles is the cycle time. This is how long the sprinkler goes on. And the next one is soak time, and how long we let the sprinkler or the water soak into the green before the sprinkler starts again. So as the case study stated, it needs 5 minutes of watering before it starts puddling. So we put a 5 in there. And we decided to let it soak for 30 minutes because we feel like that is an appropriate amount of time for the water to soak in before it will begin puddling again. If we exit out of this and start our dry run, we'll be able to get an example of what this looks like on the golf course. Cole hit start, green triangle in the top left. Great work. We can see it go. Awesome. Now if we scroll in and zoom in on the right hand side there, if we zoom in using the magnifying glass, if we zoom into 10 p.m. until 1 a.m., we can see that there are great examples near the 12 a.m. time. You can see that there's still a head that is turning on way later than everything else. And that's still on one of the front 9 greens. This is because that cycle soak leaves there big gaps in between and allows the water to soak in before sprinkling again. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Cole Tanner Fuller. As we move on to our second case study of the day, which is holes number 11, 13, 15, 17, and 18 have shady areas on each of the greens and need less water than the sunny parts of the green, we must alter our database, not the program area, to set up for 2 heads on all of the above greens to water for only 75% of the default runtimes. Cole Tanner Fuller, with us again today, is going to show us how to do this. So first step is we are going to go into our program menu. And as you can see, we have 2 programs, one for the front greens and one for the back greens, all set to 100% runtime. If we close out of that, we can go into Station Database. Now, we're going to have to go to the first hole in that list, hole number 11, up here in the left-hand menu. Now that we're at hole 11, we need to alter the database to set up for 2 heads of the above green, of the green to water for only 75% of the runtime. Now Cole will circle the column that needs this, that makes this happen. Station adjust percentage over number of days. All right, if we go to green number 2 section, close that. Green number 2, underneath that column, we can adjust the base station adjustment to 75%. We don't have a weather station, so we won't change the temperature station just, and we're going to leave the duration as 0 as well. So that we'll always do this head at 75%. We'll then do this for station number 3 as well. All right, we would then go ahead and do this for hole 13 as well. Hole 15, 17, and 18 are the other 3 holes that this needs to happen to. Please bear with us as we go through this somewhat awkwardly length process. While you wait, we'd like to point out that Cole is our version of Vanna White from Wheel of Fortune. He may not be dressed quite as fancy, but he gets the job done. All right, now we're all set on our database for everything to run 75%. We're going to go ahead and close the database and go into dry run. We're going to start the dry run, and we'll be able to see that there's only so much water that goes on each of the different areas that we have selected. If you go into the graph, the table, sorry. No, not the magnifying Cole. This is why you're not on Wheel of Fortune. If we go into the database, we can see that holes number 11, 13, 15, and 17, as well as hole 18. The 2 sections we changed are now running for 8 minutes. Now this is because the program itself will actually round up from 75% to 80%. It only works in whole numbers for each minute. But that is where you adjust and how you adjust the default runtimes from the database instead of the program area. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for part number 3. Thank you for staying tuned to that valuable message from our lovely sponsor, Vitamin Water. As we move on to part 3, the final part of our case study today, Cole Tanner Fuller will walk us through yet again. The case study this time is the 1st, 5th, 7th, and 9th greens are all higher than the rest and exposed to the wind. with no shade. The backs of these greens all dry out and need water every night, but the fronts only need water every second night. Build a program, call it hot greens, that will only water those heads when you build a greens program for the front 9. Do you find yourself thirsty and regular water just isn't enough? Well, we have a product just for you. It's called vitamin water. Cole Tanner Fuller drinks it, and you should too. The first step in this process is to head to the map and find out which heads specifically are on the back of the green. Now, for the sake of time, we're going to limit this to simply the first hole, and you'll be able to understand what to do for all the other holes. Cole Tanner Fuller has crossed out all of the heads that we need to turn on that could be described as the back of the green. Number 2, 3, and 4 around green 1. Now that we know this, we will exit out of the map as Cole is quick on his feet and enter the program schedule detail. Now, we have a front greens and back greens programs, and we're going to change those so that they run every other day as the case study instructs us to. We go to skip days, and we'll skip 1 day, and that will start tonight, because days to go references when you want it to start. We'll go to the back 9 greens and do the same. We will now build another program specifically for the greens that need extra water. We go again to the quick program. We will name this one Hot Greens. We'll then start time. It will be 10 o'clock, just like the other ones. But this time, instead of selecting the entire front 9, we will only select the 1st, 5th, 7th, and 9th greens. We will then select OK. We will then go into the skip day selection again. This time we will skip day, we'll make 1 skip day, and also make 1 day to go. Now this time, it will wait a day before irrigating, and then it will skip every other day. So as you can see, the front greens will skip no days and irrigate every other day as well. So this ends up being a situation where the 1st green, 5th green, and 7th green, and 9th green will be the back of them will be watered every single day. And this is exactly what we like. The final step in this process is to specifically select the areas on the green that we previously noted in the map. So make sure you have hot green selected and move into schedules. Make sure you have hole number 1 selected and move into area sequence. Now we have to add a sequence. It will be area number 1, and that will be the 1st green. If we go into station sequence, we will add 3 for the 3 heads we noticed on the map. Those were 1 green 2, 1 green 3, and 1 green 4. Once you've completed this, you can now exit out, and you have created a system that will irrigate the back of the 1st green every single day. Thank you for watching our videos. We hope you learned a lot. Drive safe.